Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Matt, the vocalist of Cryptopsy, and you're listening to my podcast, Vox&Hops, where I sit down with fellow metal musicians and talk about their lives, music, and craft beer. Today's the day that I'm going to unveil the secret guest, which I will be interviewing at the Vox&Hops one-year anniversary party on October 26th at Turbo House on St. Denis Street in Montreal. I'm so excited for this party. I've invited all of the previous Vox&Hops guests, the Vox&Hops alumni, to come with me and a bunch of you Vox&Hops heads to come celebrate the one-year anniversary of Vox&Hops. And as I mentioned, I'm going to be doing the very first live interview for Vox&Hops with the one, the only, Lord Worm, the original singer of Cryptopsy. That's right. When I first started Vox&Hops, Lord Worm was one of the first people that I always wanted and imagined interviewing for the podcast, and I reached out to him and asked him if he'd like to be a part of the one-year anniversary for Vox&Hops, and he was super into it. So on October 26th at Turbo House, I'm going to be interviewing Lord Worm for the very first live Vox&Hops interview. I also ordered the very first Vox&Hops branded glassware, which is a 9-ounce craft beer tasting glass, the exact style of glass that I like to use when I'm at home drinking craft beer in the pleasure of my own home. I'm super stoked to get these glasses. They should be coming very soon, and I'll be taking pictures to show you guys what to expect. A few weeks ago, I went to l'Assomption, Quebec, and brewed the very first collaborative Vox&Hops brew alongside the great people of Microbrasserie Le Fermentor. We brewed a New England IPA, which we have called Highway to Hops. In the description of this podcast and on the Facebook page, you can get your tickets right now. With the ticket comes your entrance into the Vox&Hops party on October 26th. You also get the 9-ounce Vox&Hops branded glassware, and you get one free tasting of Highway to Hops. So excited for this party. Get your tickets now. It's going to be crazy. Super excited. Today on the podcast, I'm with Brady Deeprose, the guitarist and vocalist of Conjurer. Here it is, Vox&Hops episode number 76.
I warn you, what you are about to hear is very disturbing indeed.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Today I'm with Brady Deeprose from the band Conjurer. Did I say that right? Did I get it right?
Yeah, well, we say Conjurer.
Conjurer.
But no one in America or Canada can hack that. And they're like, oh, yeah, Conjurer. Cool. And I'm like,
Conjurer.
So I'm going around and going, hey, I'm Brady from Conjurer. How the fuck's it going, bro? So, yeah, I've been adapting to survive.
All you Vox&Hops heads out there, if you are true to the Vox&Hops episodes, you listen to my interview with Brody Utley from Rivers of Nile, where we praise your album Mire.
No way.
Because I thank him, because it's through Brody that I know Conjurer.
Nailed it. That was absolutely spot on.
So tell me your story. Who are you? The soundtrack to your youth. Why do you play extreme metal guitar music?
It's probably kind of a weird one. So, like, going back to when I first got into music, I remember my dad had a really shitty tape player, and he'd play me Adam and the Ants, Kings of the Wild Frontier. That specific song I remember really well. And, like, I loved it because it was, like, super heavy, like the pounding drums on that track. I was like, this is amazing. This is unlike anything I've ever heard. And that and Oasis, What's the Story, Morning Glory, which I hated. Really, I remember my dad used to have this van, and we'd take drives, we'd just go fishing together, and we'd have Oasis on. I was like, I like that one song, and then the rest of it, I just couldn't wait for it to be over. But it was really my dad getting me into stuff. I didn't really show that much of an interest in music growing up, and then I got to, like, junior school, which is age like 10-ish, and I had a Green Day song on my phone, can't remember which, Sum Up American Idiot, and
which was like a comeback album for them.
For me, that was my first exposure to them. So, like, I'm 25, so I missed out on a lot of the people that we end up mixing with are, like, late 20s, early 30s, and kind of there's that bit of a disconnect with their music taste. So for me, like, metalcore is Bullet for My Valentine and Green Day is American Idiot, and they're like, that's not metalcore and that's not Green Day. I'm like, okay, cool. So where it all really changed for me was my dad played me Permission to Land by The Darkness, and
really?
I was like, this is the fucking shit. Like,
It's good playing for sure.
I love it. Like I love all of it. Like the music, the tone, the songwriting, everything on that record is like just fucking lit something up for me that nothing else had ever done it. And I was like, I want to be Justin Hawkins. Like that was I've seen The Darkness 13 times now.
No way.
Fucking love him. And yeah, it was like that was a game changer for me and made me want to get into playing guitar. And I ended up playing cello at school.
Really, like in the school band?
Yeah. And like, I got lessons because it clashed with RE, like religious education. So I was like, fuck yeah, get me out of here, and I'll start playing cello.
Anything to not listen about God.
Yeah, literally. And I stuck with that for years and ended up like touring in Europe with the like school and the county orchestras, and played at the Royal Albert Hall in London.
No way.
Like the proms and shit, like as part of an orchestra.
All you local people at home, that's like any huge DVD that you've seen in England.
The
was filmed.
Opeth Live one at the
Exactly,
Royal Albert Hall is
thank you,
sick.
yes.
Yeah.
And there's a Tim Mitchin.
Okay, yeah, so yeah, that place was insane. I saw Ghost there like a few months ago as well. So
do you like Ghost?
I do.
Yeah, me too. I
I
like Satan and Satan. I like Satan ABBA.
I like Satan. They like Satan. And yeah, ABBA's the fucking shit.
Huh, the hooks are there.
We played just before we first came to the States in February. We did like a couple of warm-up headline shows, and we played in Oxford, and we were loading in, and the sound guy was playing ABBA, like blasting it, and we were all like getting well into it. And he came up to us and was like, "Oh, don't worry, like I'll turn this off for the gig." And we were like, "Absolutely fucking not!
Just keep it on, man."
All fucking night between all the bands of just ABBA, we were having the best time. So yeah,
Cello.
I was playing cello, and around the same time was getting into guitar and heavier music, and Bullet for My Valentine were the band that opened my eyes to like, in fact no, it wasn't that, it was we had an assembly at school, and this band got up and they played two covers. They did Sweet Child of Mine and Enter Sandman, and I didn't understand the concept of covers, and I just thought they were the best fucking band in the world. I was like, why has no one heard of them? They wrote these two amazing songs. It was like...
Listen to the lick.
Yeah, that's like those guys from school. Can't believe it.
Geniuses.
Yeah. So it was like... I got into that and I was like, this kind of music's really cool. And I heard that first Bullet for My Valentine record, which was the cool thing to listen to at school. All the like equivalent of jocks and the rugby team were all like, yeah, we listened to the new Bullet album and Enter Shikari and Pendulum. I don't know if they made it over in Canada.
I don't know. I know Enter Shikari, but not.
Yeah, so Pendulum were like a drum and bass meets rock band kind of thing. But that was like the zeitgeisty cool music at school. And I finally got into it, and everyone else realised that metal was not cool at all and moved on to other shit. And I was sat there like, oh no, I get it now.
But I like it. But
yeah,
I like it.
What's up? And like then moving through like Slipknot and like all of the kind of like starter metal bands. And I remember very vividly having the first Bring Me the Horizon album. I bet this is way more metalcore than your chats normally are.
Doesn't matter. No, everyone has their own path to get to the end
exactly.
zone. Yeah.
And it was like Bring Me the Horizon, Count Your Blessings, and Suicide Silence, The Cleansing, those two records. And that was like a massive in terms of like having blast beats and just screaming.
Yeah, no
and
clean
like,
vocals. Yeah.
You know, like heavy. It's fucking heavy. I don't care what people say. Like that stuff is objectively heavy. That was my first foray into that, and I remember we'd been to a football game. I was driving back, and I had the Suicide Silence record on, and I was like, I don't like this, but there's something about it that makes me keep wanting to listen to it, and I'm like, he's just shouting. But I hit play again, and I'd keep going into it, and eventually, like, taught myself to like heavy music by listening to those two records. And then, like, I was playing in a metalcore band for a few years, and a pop punk band, which was like Green Day meets The Darkness. It was like glam rock mixed with pop punk, and touring a little bit with them. And then I was a big fan of Dan, our other guitarist, his previous band. They were called Tear of Eden, and they played like melodic death metal, metalcore kind of stuff. It was like old Parkway Drive mixed with like At the Gates.
Very interesting.
Yeah, and they were fucking sick. Their EP is called As the Crows Watch Over Us and is on Bandcamp. And it still fucking rips. Like, I think it's great. And Dan does all the singing on that, which is quite interesting. He sounds like fucking the guy from Machine Head.
Oh, Rob Flynn.
Rob Flynn, yeah. I was going to say Flynn Anselmo, obviously. Flynn Anselmo from Machine Head, you know.
Everyone knows
real.
that.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that.
Yeah, he sounds like him. It's great. I was a big fan of Dan's band, and when they split up, because all bands at like that kind of level
At
split
that level,
up,
yeah.
and it's a massive drama, and everyone has meetings, and it's just like it's real intense. And me and Dan just got chatting on Facebook, and I'd just gotten into Gojira, and they changed my life in terms of heavy music. I was like, oh, I get blast beats now. Like, you can do it. And I had
the music can breathe, but yet still have blast beats.
Yes. I had Demigod by Behemoth.
Yeah.
And
that was a game changer for me.
Well, I remember thinking, I can't get the blast beats. I didn't know what they were called at the time. I was like, that thing where he's hitting the snare loads. It was too much for me. And I remember putting that record down and going, I'll come back to that. And then Gojira opened the floodgates.
What album was that?
It would have been Way of All Flesh,
yes,
for me. And I now think I prefer From Mars to Sirius, but those two
really
records are like
From Mars to Sirius.
Yeah. Those two are like Conjurer 101. And they were like blew the floodgates wide open. I was like, oh, suddenly blast beats are an option. And
it's not just for extreme music.
Yeah, exactly. And I was getting well into Black Dahlia Murder on the Ritual album. That was like, fuck it, I still love that album. Like, that did so much for me in terms of not needing breakdowns for music to be good. Like,
not writing a song around a hook.
Yeah,
exactly. Around a genty, groovy hook.
Yeah. And they can write a song that is cool riffs, like catchy vocals that are still screamed, and like just interesting songwriting.
They're like the evolution of At the Gates, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, like it was all that kind of stuff that was milling around, and me and Dan were chatting, and he was like, check this out, and gave me the Paul Bearer Foundations of Burden record, which
so good.
Yeah, that was another one. I was like, holy shit, this is all clean singing. It fucking rips. Like it was. Again, I'd gone from I only like clean singing to I only like yelling, and then it was like kind of reintroducing that. And we'd like met up a few times, and off our EP Behold the Swine, Dan had pretty much written that entire track, and I was like, well, this is fucking blowing my mind. Like, I don't know what this kind of music is, but I love it. And we were like discovering doom and sludge and stoner music at the same time. He was like a little bit ahead of me. He's a couple of years older. So we went to the Underworld, and we saw it was Bast opening. Do you know them?
I do not.
They are a fucking insane British band.
B-A-S-T.
They have an album called Spectres, which is like post-metal, post-black metal, really, but like a real fusion of the two. That record is unbelievable. They've just released album 2, like 6 years later, called Nanonangstrom. Words to that effect.
You nailed it, yes.
Thank you, yeah. Edit that back in. Which I've not given the time it needs, but on our first couple of listens is fucking great. They were one that we were like, shit, we did not know this band. It was amazing. We played with them a bunch since, and they're fucking great guys. Saw Paul Bearer, and we were like, this is fucking fantastic. Like, exactly what we expected. Went out for a cigarette, and we were like, right, there's another band on. Like, they're called Yarb. Like, we kind of listened to the Clearing the Path to Ascend record, and we were like, yeah, it's cool. We'll watch like one song, and then we'll drive home, 'cause it's like a couple of hours drive back. We stood open-mouthed for the entire Yarb set, just freaking out at how a band could be that heavy
and dynamic
and
at the same, yeah.
And that everything about it was just like. And I looked at him, I was like, we're not going anywhere. He was like, absolutely fucking not. And it was that night we walked out of that Yob show like, we need to start taking being a band seriously. Like, it was.
And how long ago was this?
This was Dan. When did we go see Yob? September 2014.
Cheers to Dan for his excellent
absolutely,
memory.
Yeah. And that was like, we'd been jamming for a little bit, and that was like, no, fuck, we need to do this properly. And we played our first show in February 2015. So like, we'd got our drummer together, and we'd got like, we hadn't even got a bassist at that point, but it was like, no, that is what music can be. And everything since has been a vain attempt to be as good as Yop. So yeah, that was like, for us, like, my music taste has evolved and grown so much through knowing Dan and Jan, and because Connor wasn't our original bassist, we had another guy called Andy who again did a lot for me. Like, he was a little bit older but had like a wealth of knowledge about mainly hardcore. But you know, if you'd heard of a band, he's like, yeah, I saw them when they played their EP in like a basement like down the road.
Oh, he's that guy.
He's that guy. He saw like Dillinger in a pub on their first record.
Unbelievable.
Like, in the UK. Yeah, like, he's that fucking guy, and he'll love
the show warrior.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Vox and Hops is all about beer.
Yeah.
So let's drink a beer.
Yeah, let's talk about beer. Tell me about this beer.
Yes, it's wonderful.
Do you want me to crack it?
Yes,
do you want to crack it?
No, this is the Hypa New England IPA from Brasserie du Bas-Canada.
He has no idea what he's saying.
I do. I actually do. It's number 6 from them. They do series. It's a New England IPA. It's very hazy. It's delicious. It's very rare. You got to tilt the glass.
Have a little pour now. Oh, you've got to tilt the glass.
I'll pour it.
Oh, he thinks I'm going to pour it wrong. This is embarrassing.
We're outside. Come on.
I'm a bartender. I'll have you. I'm kind of like every now and then until I totaled my car. No. That looks nice. So we got an orange juice looking drink. Lovely head. Cheers. What do you say in Canada?
We say cheers. We say cheers. So this is cool. Probably the most popular brewery from Quebec right now.
Okay.
I was extremely excited to find it before coming to the gig to share with all you guys. So
Fuck yeah.
Cheers to Brasserie du Bas-Canada.
Let's get it.
Cheers. It's smooth, as you said. It's like almost like orange juice color, very opaque, hazy. Tastes like pineapple, mango.
Kind of like Foster's.
No, it's not. A cheeky bastard. Mango, papaya, a little bit. Really, just delicious.
This is actually. So I'm not. I don't know why I'm on here. I'm not a big beer head. This is very drinkable.
See, this is, that's the danger of it.
It is dangerous. What percentage is it?
It's a 6.5, this one. So it's nice and actually smooth for the style, because they can go up to like 8 to 9 and be the same like this there.
So our drummer is like our drummer that isn't here.
Yan is not here. Why is Yan not here?
Because he's just a piece of shit. He just couldn't make it work. Complete nightmare scheduling wise. But we got a good friend now, Kevin, filling in, who's fucking killing it. And you're on his record.
Which is weird. Yeah, he plays drums for this band called Gloom, and I did a guest spot for that. So,
which neither of them knew though. They were chatting for like 15 minutes. He's like, "Hold on, I'm on your record."
Shout out to Gloom and shout out to my best wife.
So
you're not a craft beer enthusiast?
No, but
you're saying that Yan is. How does Yan find a good craft beer at a bar?
So Yan will. I remember this very specifically from the Firebug in Leicester, which is a place that we played a bunch of times. And he went up to the bar, and in the UK, most regular bars won't have craft beers. He likes dark. He likes.
He's a stout, an ominous man.
He is. Yeah. And he'll go up to a bartender, and I saw this in action, and he went, "What is the most disgusting, thickest, horrible beer that you sell that looks and tastes like old boots?" And they'll pull something out the back, like fucking covered in dust. And he's like, preferably not cold, like just out.
Of course, I agree with that too.
Out the fucking, like, just off the floor. And I'll dust it off, and I'll give it to him, and he'll fucking love it every time. He's like, yeah, just old boots is what Yan's after.
Well, shout out to Yan.
Yeah, our there's a brewery in Bristol that are called Good Chemistry. Do you know them?
I do not.
So they did a collaboration beer with our label, Holy War Records.
Did they?
Yeah, they've done a couple now, but the first one was called...
We need a Conjurer beer.
Yeah, mate, we're so ready. The first one was called Raw Power, I think, and it was a 6.66% black stout.
Ooh.
And it was
That's
like,
smooth for a stout and all.
Yeah, it was. I had some and it was nice. So that's as far as I can.
What would be a Conjurer beer? What style? And what would be the name?
It would be a disgusting mix of 4 things that do not go well together.
Is that what you think the band is?
Yeah,
really?
absolutely. Like, so musically, okay, I'm gonna tell you like a couple of artists that our band can agree on, and I bet he'll say the same thing. Carly Rae Jepsen, System of a Down, and maybe Marilyn Manson. Dan, give me 3 bands that Conjurer can all listen to and agree on as a 4. Oh, 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jeez.
Prestamico was the other one.
I don't know who Carly Rae Jepsen is, though.
She's Canadian.
Really?
She's a pop singer.
Oh, okay.
Dude, we
you
get
guys
this.
listen to that?
Someone else today in the van. Someone else said this. So her record, Emotion, I think it was 2014, is like wall to wall. Fucking. She's the girl that did Call Me Maybe.
I'm so bad
Hey,
with modern.
I just met you. This is crazy.
Got it.
Huh.
Steal my number.
Yeah, there he is. You do
Call
know
me
Carly.
maybe.
Carly Bay, as we call it. We did our tour poster was the album cover of that, but with Conjurer, and instead of Emotion, it said UK riff music.
Oh, so
We
that's
put it
cool.
on a beanie. Yeah, fucking love Carly Bay. So yeah, we'll put that record on all the fucking time.
Really?
Today we listened to Paramore, Hard Times. All the
Oh,
way
I don't
here.
hate Paramore.
Paramore is
Yeah.
sick. But yeah, like I find, I'm sure you get this, like when you guys play shows and you're on a bill with 4 death metal bands and they blast death metal between every band, and you're just like, oh god.
You're right. And when I'm on tour and it happens, and I might have said it on the podcast before, but I'll like add the albums as they come out, because I always check everything that's coming out every week, and I just put them in my library, but I won't listen to them until I come home.
Yeah.
Unless I'm in the mood, which it never happens. But like, I'll re-listen to some like Sigur Rós, some Chelsea Wolfe.
Yes, absolutely.
Super stoked. That new Chelsea Wolfe album is incredible.
I've not checked it out yet.
So excited that that's out now. Yeah.
Fuck. Have you heard the new I'm trying to think of some weird stuff. Have you heard the new Lingua Ignota record?
I have not, but I will add it after this is done. Yeah.
That is one of the most horrible things. It's like very difficult to
disturbing?
listen to.
Oh,
it's
okay.
really upsetting. It's about like she's talking about like her abusive like ex-partners and stuff, and it is like harrowing. It's awful. Don't listen to it if you're in a bad mood. Like
No.
But yeah,
I like a lot of post-metal, a lot of post-rock. I'm big into post-rock.
Yeah, again, like
I love death metal, but I love a lot of styles of music.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, when you get to a certain level, you're either like as a band, you're either very much this is what we do, this is what we like, fucking deal with it, or you've gone completely the opposite way and you listen to everything and you can never agree on shit.
Well, I think that you guys are just so free in the way that your music is.
Yeah,
you can do whatever you guys want. Almost.
That's the thing. Like we have no.
If you come up with a song that's just pure clean vocals one day, your fans won't get mad at you.
Well, maybe, but like fuck them. Like essentially, we don't do this to please anyone apart from the 4 of us in the band. And if you don't like something that we do, then that's cool. But you can be guaranteed sure that we love it. We're never going to be one of those bands that just does shit to please people or any of that stuff. Yeah. And it's a fucking nightmare because we all have such different ideas of what we want.
So it's hard to actually get stuff out.
So hard. Like we have 2 songs written for the next record, and that's taken us like since Maya came out. So it's slow progress.
Well, that's good. At least you guys are actively pursuing the next record versus just waiting to sit and write it.
Yeah. Well, we've got to like we've been so busy since Maya came out, and like,
I don't think it's going to end anytime soon. The record's fucking amazing. Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah. But again, that was like. It's never a case of let's try and write a record and get big and go out on tour. It's like let's write some songs that we like. And then if people like it, cool. If they don't, we're still happy. Like
and
we still like the song.
Here you are in North America again, 2 times in 1 year.
Crazy. It's really like very, very surreal. Like we were on the plane. Driving here. I drove a van for the first, or like a big 15-seater van for the first time, and drove in the States/Canada for the first time today. And I was driving this van down the highway, and I was like, I'm on tour in the fucking Canada. I keep saying the United States. I'm not in the United States. I'm in Canada. Driving a fucking van, like
to my next gig.
Yeah, like what is my life right
with
now?
Revocation?
Like, yeah,
and Voivod.
Revocation, who me and Dan went to see fucking years ago at Damnation Fest, and like fanboyed over it and all of that stuff. And it's like we are so fucking lucky to be doing what we're doing, and to have had this even like a modicum of the success that we've had. So I'm just literally like fucking living for this shit right now.
What would be like a dream tour for Conjurer? If you could pick like your lineup, 3 bands with you guys in it.
Well, okay, so we
like
open,
2 bands
obviously.
plus you guys.
Converge and Gajira.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
Converge and Gajira.
Yeah,
I get a lot of shit. I get a lot of shit from my American friends. Like, no, it's Converge. I'm like, yeah, fuck you.
I can pronounce my vowels however I want.
Yeah, exactly. The British way. Yeah, that would probably be like I've wanted to play with Converge for years. Like they're
very extreme. Yeah.
Oh, they're unbelievable.
Would you ever want to go like get produced by Kurt?
We've talked about it. I found out a band that I know from the UK are recording their next record with him, and I'm fucking stoked for them, but also very jealous.
Isn't it funny when you get to this certain level that we're at, like where we're at?
Yeah.
That you see your friends doing things, you're like, oh, that's awesome. Bastards.
Fuck you, but like, yeah, awesome. But fuck you. No, it's cool. Like, it's a weird one because I know there are people that like. I think people that don't get it get jealous, but people that get it realize that no band, especially with our kind of music, just makes it. Like, we played 100 shows a year for 3 years, like just fucking hammering out the UK, playing to no one, giving the exact same performance we gave tonight to like a couple hundred people, to fucking no one, because that's what you do. Like,
that's how you learn.
That's how you
get good.
Like, bands like Bullet for My Valentine and Dragon Force are great examples of this, because I saw Dragon Force on the tour after Inhuman Rampage came out. This is a very weird one, and they were like, I'm sure most of you heard of us because Through the Fire and Flames was on Guitar Hero, and the whole fucking crowd cheered. He's like, where were you for the last 10 fucking years? Like, it's so true. Like,
it is true. Yeah,
that's how bands fucking, and obviously I'm preaching to the choir here, but that's how bands fucking get anywhere, putting the effort in. And like, we're happy to be playing at 6:30 p.m. to like the dregs of people who have no fucking idea who we are, because
that's actually what you should be doing now.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's
you
no
need
point.
to expose yourself, and it's a perfect crowd for you guys. Yeah.
It's a weird crowd. We keep like, our agent keeps putting us on bills with death metal bands, and we're like,
I don't think that fits personally. There has to be a bit more.
It doesn't.
I
but
think
like
post metal, like a Cult of Luna, you guys would do better.
I want to play with Converge. Converge. That's it. Like, I want to do that. I want to tour, like, especially in stateside. I want to tour with them. I want to tour with Gajira. I want to tour with fucking Cult of Luna. Would be amazing.
Ammon Ra.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, I love
that
them.
band. Break Me.
Yeah,
that's so good. Yeah, like all that. I think that's the kind of scene that we fit more with. But at the end of the day, we'll do anything. Like, not in like a shitty way.
You
but
heard that, people.
We want to go.
Brady will do anything.
Absolutely anything. Have you seen the Firefest documentary?
I have.
I will take one for the team. Like,
we're gonna get our water bottles.
yeah, exactly. I will. Like, we'll do whatever we need to do to get out there and play to people, because that's what matters. And like, last night some dude was like, I paid $30 and drove 3 hours to come see you guys, and I'm like, that blows my fucking mind. We're some tiny little band from Rugby who practice in a studio, like in a room that we don't even own. We like rent. We go in and we pay them £6 each to practice
like
for 2
an hour
weeks.
and an hourly thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, we just turn up with all our gear in our cars. Like, until this year, we did all of our touring in 2 cars. Like, we just couldn't afford a van. Like, we are so low key compared to a lot of the like shit that we get to do.
This is going to change all of that.
Exactly. Yeah. It's gonna
shout out to Brody Utley.
Brody Utley has
Rivers of
changed
Nile,
my fucking
putting
life.
you guys on that tour.
They fought really hard to get us on that tour as well. Brody was saying like, it wasn't what some management or some agent or what
Probably a
wanted.
booking agent, I imagine.
Yeah, yeah, they fought really hard to get us on there, and that has literally changed our lives.
And now look at this next one.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's very weird to be doing the shit that I dreamed of when I was like 14 years old. Just like straight up, not. Yeah, you have those like kind of pipe dreams, but you just assume it's never going to happen, so you kind of give up on it mentally. That's where we're at, and then I got on a plane and I'm here. You know what I mean?
It's just a matter of just pursuing what you need in life.
And I think it's...
And then accepting those baby steps.
Accepting that it's like total bullshit doing this. Like, it's very cool that we get to come out here and do this, but also I have no money. I can't get a job because I have to have all this time off to tour. I haven't showered in 3 days.
There's a shower downstairs.
I know we're going to a hotel later. We've treated ourselves, so I'm going to shower there. But like, in most of the venues we play, there's never showers. So like, I haven't showered in 3 days, and for me, that is like a big deal. Like, I shower every day, no matter what. So all of that stuff. I've slept in a van for a few days, been very cramped, hated it. All of that stuff, and it's like, it is difficult. Like, whatever you say, unless you're like a proper like disgusting piece of shit, which we basically are, touring is hard.
You get used to it.
Yeah. And this is like our second big tour ever. Like, the first one was the Rivers one at the start. Before that Rivers tour, we'd done a tour of 9 shows in a row, and then we did 34.
Wow.
So like, this last year has been a massive jump for us in terms of actually doing this stuff, and it's really difficult, but you'll never catch me like bitching about it, because it's like, yeah, you get
it's
to
amazing.
do it,
and you're
like,
up on that stage
exactly
every night.
Yeah,
and on a package with great bands.
Yeah, exactly. And just, like getting to meet people like you and people that are passionate about music in general. That's why we do this shit, you know? Like,
that's amazing. One last question.
Go.
It was the first thing you said to me, and I was like, I have to ask him. I'm going to. Will there ever be cello on a Conjurer record?
So we do. Have you heard the Curse These Metal Hands record?
Is that the
collaboration with Pine that we just
I have,
did?
but the thing is, this is the thing I have. There are too many Conjurers on iTunes.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure, because it doesn't sound like Meyer. I wasn't sure if it was you guys or the other Conjurer.
No, so there's the American Conjurer and the Australian Conjurer, neither of which have replied to my messages about doing a split. So I'm just saying, guys, like, get back to me, because I'm still down.
It's going to be hard to tag this episode.
Conjurer X Conjurer X Conjurer would be so sick.
So that is you guys. And did you play
yeah,
cello
so
on
it was I played guitar and vocals, and Dan played guitar and vocals, and then it was guitar, bass and drums from Pine, who are our friends band. Have you heard their
your
record?
Label? No, yeah. I haven't, but they're on your label too.
They are unbelievable.
Oh, cool.
I actually manage them now, so obviously I'm going to say they're good.
That's awesome.
They're very heavy post rock. I loathe to call them post metal because it gives the wrong impression, but they're a post rock band with very heavy bits, but they are fucking phenomenal. They are one of the best bands to come out of the UK. Their album called Lost was out on Holy Roll Records last year, and it's phenomenal. And then we did this collaboration together, just ripping off Baroness basically, and we wanted to get cello on that, and Pine have a cellist, but she was too busy to do it, so I was like, I'll do it. We finished the record like the weekend before we flew to the States to do the Rivers tour. We just did not have time. Like, it was so like down to the bone. We're like, if we don't finish it now, it's not going to come out for like a year, basically, because Holy War Records
going to miss the release
schedule. Yeah. They scheduled all their releases in monthly, and it was like, it's either coming out. When did it come out? Last month?
I think like a few weeks ago.
Yeah. I think last month.
It came out in August.
It came out while we were at Arctangent Festival.
Yeah, in August, yeah.
Yeah. Either then, or it would have been like March next year.
Got it.
So we were like, fuck, we've just got to do it. So it wasn't like we could have spent another couple of months on it, like, because we were driving up weekends to record in Manchester with Joe from Pine, is a producer up there. So we could have spent longer on it and put down cello and like bits and bobs, but we were really happy with how it ended up. So if we end up doing another record with them, almost certainly there will be cello on it. With the Conjurer, I don't know.
Like an intro thing?
Our drummer's like a phenomenal, like, virtuosic keyboard player.
Oh,
So he's down for doing... He wants to orchestrate everything and, like, turn into, like, Dimmu Borgir.
That's too much.
It is.
I'm on your vote.
And
Yeah,
we've been
it's too
hard
much.
against that.
Yeah.
But...
So some moments would be fine.
Yeah, if the song calls for it, then we'll do it. If it doesn't, we're never going to force it in just because we have the option. Like,
He does have to play drums.
it's got to be tasteful, I think, in whatever you do. Like, we've had a couple of sections of music that we've had written since day one that are fucking great, but we've never been able to find the right spot in a song or, like, build anything around them. And just because they're good, we don't want to just force them in. So it's the same approach to songwriting and everything, really. Like, just finding the right time to do stuff. But yeah, almost certainly cello on the next record, guaranteed.
Brady, thank you so much. Drinking a beer with me.
It's been great.
Hanging out with you.
Yeah.
I love it. We're going to keep hanging out, but not with you guys listening.
We're fucking not. I'm running the second this
Cheers.
is done.
Cheers.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hey, thank you all so much for listening right to the end. I love Brady. I can't wait to get back with you, dude. Drink some more beers, have some more laughs. It was just an immediate friendship that just happened immediately. I had such a good time. I'm so excited to hang out again. You guys should really check out Conjurer. They are really one of the most interesting new bands out there on the scene. I am a huge fan, and I am very, very excited to see what they have coming up next. Don't forget, you should get your tickets to the Vox&Hops 1-year anniversary party, where I shall be interviewing the one, the only, the original Cryptopsy singer, Lord Worm. Super excited. All the tickets and all the information is in the description of the podcast and is available on the Vox&Hops Facebook page. I hope you have a great weekend. Remember to enjoy life, metal, and craft beer. Cheers, Vox&Hops heads.